Crucial 13, you are appreciated. Shout out to you.
Get crucial.
I'm hungry. I need some bacon.
Look at this. Look at it. This is the city I'm in right now.
But you have lived a admirably scandal-free life, I feel, for someone as much in the public eye as you are.
Yeah, I'm a good dude. You know what I mean? At the end of the day, I'm a good dude,
Well, yeah, I'm not saying you're not. I'm just saying it's kind of rare.
I didn't get into this business to get in trouble.
Now, in that industry, they always got blackmail on each other. They always, got something they could be able to hold over your head. And even the top of the top got scandals or something that came out on them or anything. Eddie Murphy with the dude, Jay-Z with Foxy and whoever else he had issues with. Oprah. I'm talking about the children thing in Africa with the Hillary Clinton. Dude, all the top names got something you could be like, okay, yeah, that was some type of scandal against them. You ain't hear too much about Ice Cube. That is interesting.
I got into this business to be creative, to do cool shit with cool people. And so I keep it all in perspective. I know it's 1,000 things I can get into that's destructive, but it's 1,000 things I can get into that's constructive. So
right.
And this is the same guy that went in Priority Records and ripped it to shit, because he had some issues with, getting the short end of the stick on some contracts, some things that most artists would just deal with or are, under a spell enough to deal with. And with this guy, that just wasn't the case. So he almost has a history of not being controlled. So when you see him talking like he is now, you can almost guess like, oh, okay, he kind of always been like that.
I just choose to spend my time.
I'm just saying,
doing cool shit.
Not everybody in show business has their head on straight like that. In fact, I would say, would you not agree that the rule more is that they don't? There's something about people in show business, what draws people to show business, or the type of people who succeed. As my friend Jimmy always says, and it's the greatest quote, he said, insanity photographs.
Yeah.
It does.
People love to.
There's a lot of the people who become the biggest stars or get the incredible followings, there is a kind of insanity in them. They're very often in their own world, especially musicians, have no idea. Don't ask them who the vice president is.
Yeah, they get used to people handling them.
Right.
And they get lazier, and everything comes easier, and pretty soon they're just kind of being ragdolled around.
And right here, he's talking about the handlers, which they have in Hollywood, they have in the music industry. And, based on the video he made about how he's going to start talking about what's going on these podcasts, he's about ready to blow the lid because he has come up around a lot of this stuff. And, hey, he knows a thing or two. And like I said before, even about Donald Trump, a lot of us on the outside looking in, we're just talking. These people at least know what's going on. They really come from being around these type of circles and knowing these type of dudes. You know what I mean? So they're the type of people you want talking like this, and you want to get this information from them because they've been there.
I looked in the mirror when I was a teenager still. I had one or two cool songs that were starting to bubble. And I looked in the mirror and I said, I I still want to be myself. You know, don't lose that guy you looking at in that mirror. And every so often, I make sure I take that long look and make sure that I still recognize the guy that's looking back.
So it sounds like right there he's saying he didn't sell his soul. And yes, his early NWA music and all that was definitely used to poison people's minds and stuff. But you know, how a lot of these record labels do is society is already, you know, conditioned a certain way to where it's like, okay, our stuff is conditioning them to the point where we're creating willing participants in the program now. So, you know, kids on the street already are living like this with or without these record companies. The record companies are just going there to look for the people that's already like this. And NWA, everybody who knows about NWA knows they already been making music before the record companies even talk to them. So the record company's like, oh, okay, they're pushing that agenda right there. Let's go get them. So then, you know, they get these guys in the industry, and then people like Ice Cube or whatever found out that these dudes is full of shit. And then after his fallout with them, he started becoming political in 91 with the death certificate, exposing a lot of the corruption going on in the government and everything. And then what happened after that? He makes 2 more albums and then stops. 93 was his last album, and then he didn't come back until like 98. And you know, he surrounded himself with, you know, powerful people in the music industry. I'm not talking about the elite powerful. I'm talking about guys that was actually able to move around these sharks and not give in to some of that, like Master P. He was on the same label as Master P. And if you check out my Master P videos, I put together a few of them that show that the industry been trying to attack him for years.
We don't say Latino anymore. We say Latinx. Yeah, you say it. You know who doesn't say it? Latinos. They fucking hate it. But it's like, no, we can change the rules, and then the people who haven't caught on will get them. It's you know, we think it's fetch. Latinx.
Nah.
No.
You know, it's weird how the name's always changing every, something like 20 or 30 years. Somebody wants to put a new label on the same thing.
You mean ethnic names?
Yeah. You know,
right.
It seems like, you know, you go from this to that and the other.
Right.
You know, at the end of the day. And,
people of color used to be,
you know,
reversed 50 years ago.
Yeah, and it's just done to really keep us bickering and, you know, chasing these words.
Okay, so
and not really getting to the root of the issues, which are most of the time very common if we really go down to the root of it.
Could not agree more.
Yeah.
But you said it's being done to divide us. Okay, by who? Who's doing it?
Well,
you know, they're pretty much talking about this maniacal left that likes to label everything, and, you know, everything got some new little word, and, oh, we'll call you a cis, or, you know that them type of people and shit, right? And Bill Maher goes, yeah, that's all true. He's talking about how they do it and everything. Where do you think this comes from? Just the people on the street? He's like, well, who's doing it? Not us, dumbass. And respectfully, like, the people are really like, you know, people up until they get shit shoved down their fucking throat. By who the fuck do you think? The maniacal left. Just look at who the hell is in charge. You're new age liberals, Bill Maher. I know you're a classical liberal from, like, you know, when you guys had common sense and all that, but hey, it's over with. Liberals are nuts right now, okay? That's who. You know, everybody that's pushing that ideology right now. And then, yes, it goes back into a whole cabal of people, all right? And I pretty much think Bill Maher knows this, to be honest. Because he's constantly just bashing Trump and stuff, and he doesn't even never have a good reason to do it. All his reason why he doesn't like Trump is, oh, he's stupid. He's stupid, huh? That's just all you got. A guy that's sitting here maintaining billions of dollars, owns all these businesses, he's stupid. Well, yeah, and some people say, well, his dad gave him all the money. No, his dad didn't give him all that. Gave him a damn loan, and he made the best out the loan, okay? I bet you any money if Joe Biden was rich and he gave Hunter Biden some money, he ain't gonna maintain no damn businesses. So it takes some type of, drive and smarts to do this type of shit. Okay? The guy's son is a genius. This guy's an idiot, though. Man, let's continue.
Who benefits and profits off our bickering and our division? It's like follow the money. I don't know their names, Bill, but if you follow the money, you go high enough, you start to see, okay, this is an industry. Okay, let's take rap music.
Let's take it.
Same people who own the labels own the prisons. So,
literally the same people?
Literally the same people who own the labels own private prisons. So, it seems really kind of suspicious, if you want to say that word, that, the records that come out are really geared to push people towards that prison industry.
Now here, why do y'all think the Democrats who really wrote all the crime bills, Joe Biden, Bill Clinton and all them, wrote all the crime bills, which pushed the maximum punishment for the minimum of crimes, why do you think they who wrote all these crime bills is the ones siding with a lot of these hip hop artists? Cardi B did the interview with Joe Biden. Hey, I'm your friend. They're siding with this, and what they're doing is appropriating savage behavior, meaning like they're telling them, oh, we're on your side and all this type of stuff, and they're pretty much propagating it. The mindfuck is even going so far as to where in a lot of these Democratic areas, they're actually being lenient on a lot of criminals right now, so that it keeps encouraging the behavior. So now the criminals thinking, oh, I can keep getting away with this until you do something so fucked up that they can't let you out. And then guess what? They're going to drop the hammer on y'all pretty soon. Once this, order out of chaos, once they encourage the chaos enough by, letting you out and making y'all think, oh, the justice system is starting to work for us. Well, it's actually not working for you. It's actually working for you to become a criminal. That's why they don't really encourage the ones that get out of the criminal life. They call them Uncle Toms. But they're like, oh, the real black people that we want to support is the ones that is doing foul shit. Because they want to encourage you to keep doing that shit so you can fill these prisons up. So they pump the message to you in the music, like you see right here on the screen, okay? Now we're about to take a look at this clip from Krayzie Bone, who was also talking about this, from Bone Thugs and Harmony. Check it out.
The companies we worked for had invested millions into the building of privately owned prisons, and that our positions of influence in the music industry would actually impact the profitability of these investments. Doug says, I remember many of us in the group immediately looking at each other in awe and confusion. At the same time, I didn't know what a private prison was, but I wasn't the only one. Sure enough, someone asked what these prisons were and what any of this had to do with music. We were told that these prisons were built by privately owned companies who received funding from the government based on the number of inmates. The more inmates, the more the government would pay these prisons.
They didn't make you write those lyrics.
It's not about making somebody write the lyrics.
Yeah, Bill, it's not about them making nobody write the lyrics. I know a lot of people in the hood right now that got terrible songs. But guess what? These people that own these record companies, they don't have to come over there and broadcast that song that my friend made about killing people on the radio. Do you get it? And don't tell me, well, it's popular now. They're just trying to make a buck. No, back then, why wasn't that type of music popular? You had feel-good music back in the 60s, 70s, 80s, and all that. Okay? What they've been doing is making society immoral and trying to demoralize us from the inside to where we started acting like morons on the street, and now it's reflecting in our art. And now they can be like, oh, well, they're already like that. No, y'all pushed the poison onto us first. to make us act like that. Stop it. And society didn't evolve or change based on all the toxins and poisons being pumped into us over time. We started acting out of our lower nature. And the same people, it all goes to the top of the pyramid, the same people that distributed that shit that made us start acting out our lower nature is the same ones who want us to be acting out our lower nature. Hint, hint. They want us to act like savages, throw ourselves in jail, okay? You get it? The easiest way to reduce somebody from their sovereign capacity in their nation is to criminalize and demoralize them, okay? Because when you're not in harmony with things, you have to be governed by something. Why do you think the people that want to govern us demoralize us? Does this make sense?
It's about being there as guardrails to make sure certain songs make it through and certain songs don't. Certain flavors are exposed on the record. You know, some records are made by committee. Meaning record company guys sit around and tell the artists, this is hot, say that, do this. We're gonna have this guy write the lyrics. We're gonna have that. So the narrative is really kind of, you know, structured and really made into what the record company want the record to be, and what the, you know, a lot of artists are frustrated with this kind of music making. You know, a lot of people, you know, feel like they're being controlled by the label. This is how they do it. Telling you what songs to sing, what hooks to do, what songs, you know, you can do your song, that's fine. That's an album cut. But the single is what we all say is the single. So you have, you know, the record company pushing the narrative, you know, and you know, so this to me is in somewhat, you know, some social engineering going on here to make sure those prisons stay full. Now, there's a lot of dots to connect to make that happen, but I'm just giving you a broad example of how people at the top can manipulate what's going on with the people who are bickering and fighting. I just gave you a music example, but there's examples of race.
Can I cross-examine this theory?
Of course you can cross-examine, of course. Of course.
I know, and I appreciate that.
Yeah.
Okay, so if your theory is that the prison industrial complex, and I agree, that's an abomination. Start off with there. Prison I've done editorials on this on my show. Prison is one of those things that should not be in private hands.
Yes.
Along with healthcare, a few other things that are like, you know, the good part of socialism. They should not be run by people for profit. I agree with that.
Yes.
I did not know about this connection to the music industry, that it's the exact same people. If by that you mean that the people who run the record companies may have stock in prisons, private prisons, that's possible because they all have stock. I mean, do they actually like Monday, Tuesday go to work as a record company executive and Wednesday through Friday go to work at the prisons? No. Okay, so of
course they're not actually running the labels.
They have
things.
financial interest in it.
They have financial interest.
Okay, so if they have financial interest in the prisons, and your theory, if I'm following correctly, is that the kind of stuff in rap lyrics works as a funnel to get people inspired to do the kind of things that would get them in prison, right? Like, for example, writing a lyric, fuck the police.
Classic liberal, just really spinning something way out of context. Look, they were kids rapping about what they seen in their environment. They made records, underground, independent, had a buzz going. You know what I mean? Hey, a lot of kids growing up in there are, you know, taught to hate the police and stuff like that. I know I was. I'm over here trying to commit crimes. I don't need people telling me not to commit crimes, so they're the bad guy in my eyes. Fuck them. Okay? But the fact that these label owners came around and decided to promote that record, okay, should actually be more alarming to you, Bill Maher. They promoted a record that said, fuck the police. You're going to go after the same people that are allowed to lock you up, we want you to fight with them. And we're going to push this record. Okay? Is that not alarming to you? You still want to blame Ice Cube for this? So he was like 17 years old when he made the song. Okay? Yes, he was going to make the song regardless. He's a kid who's, rebellious and all that type of stuff. It's on these record labels right now that are going around these hoods saying, okay, let's go find the most savage artists and put them on the radio. Little Durk, oh, you're rapping about ops and smoking the packs? Yep, let's promote that. Is that not alarming to you? Now, that don't give nobody no excuse to just run around here rapping about this type of stuff, because anyone that follow me know I'm a self-accountability type of dude. I don't care what the white man did to you or nothing like that. You don't got no excuse. Okay? But we're talking about record companies right now that are going around promoting the most vicious music. These people are rapping about killing each other in these songs. They actually got cases, investigations proving that some of these rappers done killed people or had people killed. And this is being promoted on the airwaves. Why? It's illegal. It's criminal. Why are you promoting it? Oh, you want to fill up them prisons.
Yeah, I mean, writing the lyric, fuck the police.
Might get somebody arrested and sent to prison.
That might get somebody arrested and sent to prison. That's just one example, one record that the record company did not manipulate.
And what he means by that is that they already had the song. They were already, like I said, they were already programmed to think like this. You had Marxism pushed on society. Oh, the police are bad, whatever. They already had the song. They were already bubbling. So the record company was like, okay, they're already doing this. Let's get them. Okay. But what he's about to talk about is these record companies now are telling these artists, here, rap about this, rap about this. But at first, they went and just found it on the street. Okay. And then had them, sell the record. And it's funny because back then, they weren't guaranteed that was going to be a hit. Society still looked down on like savagery and all that type of stuff. They were taking a big risk. So that shows you agenda. Okay? When you're willing to actually take a risk like that to push an agenda, same way they're doing this Target shit, the Bud Light shit, they don't care about losing money. They're trying to really demoralize people to fill these prisons up and to reduce people from their sovereign capacity. Okay? Does this make any sense?
Right. But I've seen labels. I've
Did they
worked with artists.
Did they manipulate you?
No. I'm an independent artist. Always have been. I started off on independent labels.
So how were you able to avoid this trap that so many others fell in? What did you do right?
I wouldn't let an A&R asshole in my studio. Like, you're not fucking coming in here telling me how to make a record.
Right.
I'm come from the heart. I'm gonna do what I feel. So I never allowed an A&R to. I never had anybody A&R me, but Dr. Dre. So
remember, thanks to the Marxists in this country, that a lot of people really think the police are corrupt. So a lot of people making music like that think that they're actually doing something positive by pointing out corruption in the system and all this. So they're thinking, yeah, these liberals are actually with us on this. Yeah, we're going to change the system. We're going to do all this. When in reality, these liberals know that you start fighting with the police, they got every right to start locking you up because you're out of order. You're chaotic. See how that works? That's how Marxism works. They create defectors in the country. They make you fight amongst each other. They make you fight the authority. They create this image of the police to make them evil and wicked. Watch my video called Why America is Immoral, the Marxism video with Malcolm X on the thumbnail. I break that down so cold. They make us really feel like our system is so corrupt, which there is a half of the government that is corrupt, obviously. We talk about that on here. Okay? But they make us feel like the whole thing is corrupt to where we start fighting with the police and all that type of shit. And then, it makes it easier for the people in this country to take us over, because now we're just throwing ourselves behind bars. And little do these rappers know that, they think now because the liberals talking about defund the police and all this other type of stuff, they think they're on their side. No, dumbass, they're really trying to get you to throw yourself in jail. Watch The Trap.
That's pretty.
I just wasn't ever going for it. And you know, they just kind of like let me alone do my thing. And I was on the independent label like Priority. I wasn't on a major. And majors, you know, they do it with singers, they do it with rappers. They have a lot to say in what's the finished product.
Isn't it always the case?
And as you see right here, Ruthless Records was under Atlantic Records at one time, late 80s, you know, around that time, you know, and I am working on a Ruthless Records witchcraft documentary, you know, which is going to have a lot of crazy stuff, and we'll show you exactly how that was handled and how they ended up doing their own thing without a lot of these labels because they was already, you know, into some things themselves.
Yo, what's cracking? You know what it is. It's your homeboy Ice Cube. And some of you may not have realized that I'm not part of the club. And a lot of you listening to me right here, right now, you're not part of the club either. And what I realized with the club is what makes them so mad is when you don't want to be a part of their fucking club. That pisses them off. What club am I talking about? I'm talking about the club of gatekeepers that we all got to deal with. You know who they are, and they definitely know who they are. A lot of people would be like, what? Who? Come on, man, stop playing.
This whole agenda being pushed all resorts back to people wanting to reduce us all from our sovereign capacity. Because like it or not, believe it or not, this country was actually sovereign at one point. I know everyone thinks we was all slaves and all that shit. Everybody was slaves, right? Even the white people were slaves at one point, because if you look into it, you will see. But it wasn't just everybody. There was a reason for all this type of stuff. Every single person was not like that. They're lying. They're trying to make us fight with each other. They're trying to get us to rebel against authority, because once you rebel against authority and law, you break the law. Then you go right the fuck to jail, okay? You go, and it's easier for you to go to jail and be controlled as a criminal than it is for them to control you as a free person and as a sovereign being. So they have to reduce you from your sovereign capacity. I encourage everybody to start looking into Moors, start looking to America, start looking into national sovereignty, nationality, and all of this. Stop identifying by black. You know, learn what black and white means by law. Black actually means dead in the eyes of the law, civil liter mortuus. White actually meant sovereign. So a lot of y'all would say, well, this was the white people was free. Yeah, white meant sovereign and free. Okay, so of course the majority of the country is white and free. Okay, Moors, which is so-called black people, identified as white. You didn't know that, did you? Okay, so everybody that was white and free in this country was not so-called Caucasian and Europeans and stuff like that. All right? Okay? Now they ended up flipping it around and doing some finessing, which got so-called dark-skinned people claiming the status of black and so-called light-skinned people claiming the status of white to get us to fight with each other. That's just typical Marxism. That's why you will look at my video, Why America is Immoral, to learn more about that. Okay? And if you're wondering why, most of slave owners were white and few of them were black. No, listen. Everybody that was so-called black did not identify as black. They identified as white because white means free. White means sovereign. In every nation, you either got a free person or a person that's not free. And what represented the free was white. What represented the not free was black. It's that simple. I swear to God, it's that simple. Okay? So definitely salute to people like Ice Cube, who's actually waking up to a lot of this programming. You know, he's still under like the thing where he feels like, you know, the police are bad and stuff like that. So, you know, but I see him coming out of that because he's coming more into a conservative lane and actually going against a lot of this woke bullshit. If you've seen the Joe Rogan podcast, he's like, what the fuck is going on nowadays? You know what I mean? And then sooner or later, you're going to figure out the same people pushing that woke bullshit is the same people pushing that police bullshit. And the same people pushing that woke bullshit and that police bullshit are pushing that bullshit to demoralize you and to criminalize you, to make you easier to control, aka govern, okay? Aka take over this fucking country and not have people to fight them back. We're too busy fighting each other, so we don't have to fight them back. That's a Marxist plan right there. It's literally how they take over country. That's literally how the colonizers do it. You ever heard about the Indians, which, you know, was the Moors? And, you know, Moors is black people and so-called white people as well. So don't just attribute that to black people. You know, you're either free or you're not. That's just how it works. But you ever heard the Indians, what they did to them? They got them drunk. They got them high. They got them to demoralize themselves before they was able to be conquered or, you know, colonized. Think about this type of stuff. This is how they do it. They just don't come through here with their shotguns and boom, lay it down. No, they get you to lay yourself down. Okay? It's easy. They rock you to sleep, man. That's just how it works, man. But yeah, the same people pushing that police bullshit, pushing that woke bullshit, the same ones that want you in jail, man. So definitely let me know what y'all think of in the comments. And I ain't woke. I'm up.
Crucial 13, you are appreciated. Shout out to you.
Get crucial.
I'm hungry. I need some bacon.
Look at this.
Look at it. This is the city I'm in right now.